Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, in a sense, was shot in my mind in 3D with shots of the animals coming into the lens and a lot of kind of visual background, foreground dynamics. I like to call them trombone effects, where suddenly creatures and people are running toward the camera. There was a lot of, I think, subconscious 3D etiquette in my first approaching the material a long time ago. Never in a second did I ever think that I was going to be making this movie or could be making this movie in 3D, because 20 years ago 3D wasn't ready for prime time. But now that it is, and the post-conversion of Titanic was so extraordinary, it looked like it had been shot originally in 3D. That was the first time that I thought the people that did the conversion for Titanic, perhaps they could do the same thing for Jurassic Park.
With movies like Jurassic Park, you instantly think what 3D can bring to the experience. And what Stereo D brings to this is they've recognized that the important part of the process is to have a relationship with the filmmakers and to go literally shot by shot through the film and deeply understand what the intentions were from the beginning.
Increase that expansion so you really feel it.
We sat down in the screening room at Amblin with Steven Spielberg and watched Jurassic Park, the original, and talked through the movie of what he wanted it to look like in 3D.
He had such a seriousness about going back in to get inside the regular storytelling of the feature film and then see what 3D could do to augment it or enhance the experience.
The steps are very simple. The artists at Stereo D do a shot, and they show it to you, and they ask for your comments. And it works great because I'm able to have a reaction on behalf of the filmmaker that I am and on behalf of the audience that I think I am.
Hey, look! I think what you'll find when you see the movie completed is that he's gone in and looked very carefully at each of those defining moments and found just exactly what the calibration might be for a 3D experience.
Jurassic took about 9 months to complete. The team includes stereographers and hundreds of artists that are specifically tasked with isolating every small detail inside the shot so that we can add depth to it. Then we have a group of artists artistically animating depth through every single frame. And then at the end of the process, we have a talented group of painters and compositors who reassemble everything, and especially in a jungle with rain, they have a lot of work to do.
When the T-Rex breaks out of its pen, the first thing I noticed was that the rain was contained inside the 185 frame. So what they did was I asked for some foreground rain to be separate from the middle ground and background rain.
Some of the blue specular rain coming out from upper negative left and spilling down to the center of the screen.
All of those elements have to be broken out to create a believable experience in 3D. So you had to add atmospheric effects, a little bit of rain, a little bit of mist, really just sort of have the environment engulf you.
You actually see the rain now, but very close to your own experience, more than you ever saw it in 2D.
So when those kids are inside the Explorer and the dinosaur's head drops down by the window, now he's very excited about what that can feel like in a 3D format.
And for the first time, because of the 3D, you really get a sense that you're trapped along with them. You actually feel the walls of that car itself closing in on you.
The shot where in the side mirror it says some things may look closer. It gets a great laugh in 2D, but in 3D, it's fantastic.
Look out! Down!
And with a little bit of enhancement, some branches breaking off and a few little splinters coming at right between your eyes. I mean, it's like cranking the excitement up from a 7 to a 9.
When you start getting into dinosaurs in 3D, it opens up all sorts of possibilities. I like scale, I like spectacle of seeing the Brachiosaurus and the big T-Rex there, but I also like the moving camera shots, the Gallimimus Stampede and all that stuff. One of my favorite shots is the T-Rex jumping out and grabbing the Gallimimus with the cast in the foreground looking over the log, because that's got a lot of depth, that shot in it.
Jurassic Park isn't just a dinosaur movie, it's a survival movie. And there's a lot of set pieces that don't involve animals. One of my favorite set pieces in 3D is when Tim is in the car and Dr. Grant climbs the tree, gets Tim out, and then the branch breaks. And it's a race to get to the bottom before the car crushes them.
Go, 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 Tim, go!
The most rewarding moment of this process for me was the first time we showed Steven the Jeep falling out of the tree. He watched it for the first time, the lights came on, and he said, you know, I haven't seen that moment that way since the day we shot it. And it means we did it right.
The kitchen scene works great in 3D because there's so much distance between the end of the long counters and the door where the two raptors enter. So you really get a tremendous sense of perspective, which we never really had before in just 2 dimensions.
Film, even 3D film, is all up front, but sound is all around you. And it's the way we hear the world. We see up front and we hear 360 degrees. So I try every trick in the book to wrap the audience in sound when appropriate, because I think that too, like 3D, makes you feel like you're in the movie.
Clever girl.
I took advantage of this opportunity to remix a little bit and kind of update the mix. I got a little more radical, pulling things back and playing with things behind you. And I might have pushed things like the big T-Rex roars a little bit bigger and broader than I did before. So I apologize if anyone thinks it's too much, but I don't think so.
I'm really proud of Jurassic Park because it was the first movie in history where the principal characters were digitally created and intercut with a great full-size live-action Stan Winston animal. That blending of the digital with the analog, you know, I'm so proud of it, how seamless that was 20 years ago, and how seamless it seems even today in 3D.